Firemouths are fish that need lots of research done before they are bought, or else they can become an absolute nightmare, as with most fish. Firstly, you will need a big tank of at least 150 litres. Mine is slightly smaller than that, although the fish is not fully grown, and him and his tank mates are moving into another tank soon. Because firemouths are very messy fish, they will need a good filter to keep the tank clean. Live plants can also act as a filter, but it would be extremely hard making the tank filled with enough plants to actually act as a filter with a firemouth in it, as they like to destroy the plants and tear them to pieces and dig them up. Because of this, you will need to do water changes. The amount you do depends on how many fish you have and how big the tank is. I recommend changing the water every 2 weeks, around 30%, and siphoning the debris off the bottom. You do not need to scrub the decor and the walls of the tank because it is covered in very beneficial bacteria, unless it is covered in algae and it looks like absolute crap, which algae is not actually harmful at all. The tank still needs to have a little bit of debris for the nitrogen cycle to happen, which I will be explaining in a future video, or you can go and watch other videos explaining the nitrogen cycle. Firemouths are tropical fish, so they will need a heater if the room is not heated. My tank is set to 26 degrees Celsius, but you can range the temperatures from 25 to 28 degrees. They also need a pH of around 6.5 to 8.5. You can keep two firemouths together, but it can lead to aggression, especially if they're both males. You will need a very big tank as well if you want to keep multiple. Firemouths are very aggressive fish, so you will need fish of similar temperament if you want tank mates, as well as a very big tank. I would recommend fish like plecos, convict cichlids, large blue eyes, and green terrors. You can also keep them with severums, salvinis, and jack dempseys, although these fish get much bigger than the firemouths, and it's not 100% that they will get along. If you want a community tank, you will need hiding places and lots of broken lines of sight, which are just things that are in the way of the fish's sight, so the fish can get around one and not be seen by the other fish. These fish can also pick on bigger fish than them, similar to convict cichlids. My firemouth has been picking on my green terror fig. I originally thought the blue eye was the one attacking him, until I saw the firemouth chasing him and biting him. Firemouths will need to be fed every 2 to 3 days, although they can survive much longer without being fed. They aren't like people, so they shouldn't be fed every day or multiple times a day unless they're fry, which are just newborn fish. Some people feed them daily and have success, but I would not recommend it. You can feed them flakes, pellets, bloodworms, small amounts of unseasoned chicken, and mosquito larvae. They might eat steamed vegetables, but it really just depends on the fish itself. Meaty foods should not be fed often, like bloodworms and chicken. I recommend only feeding bloodworms weekly and chicken even less. If you feed your firemouths a healthy diet and give them a very stress-free life, they can live up to 10 years and even longer. Males are also slightly bigger and thinner than the females, with longer and more pointy fins. They also sometimes display more colour than the females, but this is not a good way of telling them apart, because females also usually have the same amount of colour as the males. Females are smaller with rounder bellies and smaller rounder fins, and sometimes have a smaller snout. That was all for this video. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments, and consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.